Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Vermont Scale Customs, currently residing in Illinois. Thanks for stopping by. So, you are looking at a Little Guy Racing, what is that, the comp frame chassis kit. I, of course, possess zero self-control in this hobby. Last installment, I was talking about getting ready to paint this body purple, which, by the way, let me kind of plant a flag in the whole chassis thing here. Painting a body with an airbrush is a task I had never done before, and I kind of figured that trying to cover some real estate, I'd want to go thin, so I did go thin. It took me probably 6 or 7 hours, multiple coats, and so on and so forth. I masked the windows, did the seals and everything around the windows. I get all the way through it, kind of screwed up in a couple of spots, and I decided that I did not want to back it like in any kind of black or white or anything, so I just left it clear, and I like it this way. Now, back to the chassis kit. It's amazing. That's all I can say. It's actually incredible. I bet I've built probably at least a dozen different chassis now, different kinds of chassis, styles of chassis for SD, like 24 scale based stuff. And nothing has gone together. Nothing has like the fit and the finish that what the Little Guy Racing products chassis have. I'm incredibly impressed, right down to the 3D printed parts that come with everything. I am normally not much of a fan of 3D printed stuff for a variety of different reasons, but the quality of what you get with that kit is worth every penny. And I'm also looking forward to the addition, I guess, of the aluminum billet aluminum rear hinge system that's coming out. I went ahead and sprang for the billet aluminum front bumper. And also, to kind of let me hit pause on why I did this, I built up the OGRC chassis, which I absolutely love that thing. There's no doubt about it. It is a true contender. When I got to a certain point with mounting this body on here, since I'm essentially building like a Class 1, Class 2 24 scale truck, you have to have a front and rear bumper. So that poses a bit of a challenge on that truck, or excuse me, that chassis, using that chassis with this body. So I decided to go native with using this body on its, of course, factory chassis. And I was curious about how it was going to compare. And I will say, pretty much across the board, this thing scores 9s and 10s, with the exception of how it handles really hard-edged breakovers past about 3 or 4 inches tall. Some stuff it can do really well. Some stuff it does, I would say, better than some of the other crawlers that I've built recently. It is an LCG design chassis, so everything sits much lower. The shock towers cause everything to ride considerably lower. Everything stays pretty compressed. You don't get a massive amount of unloading with it. And it definitely crawls just a little bit differently. Like I say, this is a spot where I actually kind of struggled here, so I had to kind of take another run at it until I found just the right spot. And then coming up on this part here, a little bit different wheelbase, and it definitely tackles this entirely differently than what like the buggy did just last week. Now the buggy had a much longer wheelbase, but it also was set up for handling breakovers differently. It weighed about 30 grams less than this. That clocked in at 472. This is like 504, I think, now. Basically all of the same parts that were on there, but I added diff covers. So it got an ounce worth of diff covers. This was interesting. I don't know how many times I've had a crawler roll off of something and then just land in the strangest positions. And I mean, you saw it right there.
That was look at that.
Now this was kind of, I was like, well, what's the chance? What's the potential of me getting out of this? You'll see. So once I got to this point, I was like, okay, you're still on all 4 wheels right now. Let's see what happens. And it was at that point I decided this was probably my favorite truck that I think I've built for 24 scale stuff. Not only do I love the look, because I'm a huge Tacoma fan. I think I've had 4 in my lifetime now, dating all the way back to an 85 4Runner, which I still kind of consider like part of this whole family and class. Anyway, Yeah, this one just checks all the boxes for me. Love the thing. Decided to do a little slow-mo on this. I just wanted to see how things were looking. Also, too, if you note the hard park stickers that made it onto the insides of the hard park wheels, I kind of thought that was a little detail that just kind of needed to happen. Those stickers have been sitting around for a while, and I've been trying to figure out a good place for those, and that seems to be a good location for them. So, nice little detail to sort of catch your eye. I think I wanted to do this in slow because, you know, I'm running soft foams, and I wanted to see, A, what the tires are doing, but then I also wanted to see, you know, what's happening with breakover. And I think a little bit higher clearance link might get a tiny bit more advantage. And I looked at the hard park links last night from the Dementor, trying to see if there's any way I could swap those over. The only problem being is that it would add about 3 or 4 millimeters of length to the back end. And right now I really like the 160 millimeter wheelbase. I think it works perfectly for this whole thing. So adding any length to it might not necessarily be something that I want to get into doing. I don't think I could put the front links on and adjust like the center point of the truck. But needless to say, I think pretty much in a situation where, yeah, I'm going to run it like it is. I'm going to learn how it drives. It does some things a lot better than others, and some things not nearly as well as others. But if I had to say, it checks off pretty much just about every single box. It gets 9s and 10s across the boards, with the exception of what it does for breakovers. It is definitely challenged on a couple things, and this is probably one of them. It can't do number 6 and number 7 of the Legends course. The breakover thing is the only thing that I think is lost on this chassis, and that's it. Everything else totally wins across the board. There's no doubt about it. I can't wait till the aluminum hinge for the back becomes available. I'm definitely going to purchase that. At which point I'll probably take the old hinge system off of this and the original bumper, and I will rebuild the OGRC and pick up another body. And that way I'll have a fresh start to be able to sort of experiment around with how difficult or not difficult it's going to be to get that chassis set up, basically kind of looking similar to this. So maybe I could do a real like side-by-side comparison between the two. So that's a couple months out. But for now, I am going to enjoy the heck out of running this thing. It's my new favorite truck, basically. That's kind of what it comes down to. I'm a big Toyota fan. Oh, you can see up there on the pillar too, right? Went to peel away some of the masking and just took some of that metallic purple paint with it. It was so tough doing this with airbrush. By far, probably one of the most difficult like detail thing I've had to do. You can see the window seals. I think that turned out all right. And the reason I went slow on this, I just wanted to see what it was going to do. Every inch of the way was just kind of a little bit more. Say hi to my reflection there. Every move that this thing made was just kind of a little bit more than I was expecting it was going to do. So I was just going to see how far I could take it. And it was three-wheeling the whole way right there. Again, that hard park sticker placement on the wheels, I think. I mean, granted, it's not the highest resolution, but if you know what logo you're looking at, you know that that's a pretty cool detail. The creaking sound gets me. I don't know what it is. It could be gears. I'm not 100% sure. I don't know. Those Carisma shocks need 30 weight oil. I think they have, honestly, like 3-in-1 in them. Those are my oldest Carismas. Those have been around for a while. And I think they have really lightweight oil, and they definitely need heavier weight. But if you've stuck around this long, you're a champ. Thank you so much. You're going to see a lot more of this truck. I have a ton of video that I did yesterday. I shot like 45 minutes of video of this thing. So stay tuned. There's some other really cool crawls that I did with this that totally blew me away. So, got any questions about it, please feel free to ask. I'll include the parts list in the description. Yeah. New favorite truck right there.